I'm going to be talking about 40 acres in this video that we've got for sale near Rapid City, South Dakota. This is unzoned property, really close to Spearfish, the northern Black Hills. It's going to be great for somebody looking for a homestead. Maybe you just want to RV and camp, or you're just looking to invest in raw land in South Dakota. We're going to see a multitude of calls coming in on this property. In the video, I'm going to break down what we're selling. I'm going to help you understand exactly what we're advertising, how you can go drive to the property, and again, some potential uses for a property like this. It's really going to have a lot of opportunity, and that's one of the big selling points is that this property doesn't have any zoning, and there's not a whole lot of restrictions that are going to come with it. So whether you have horses, an RV, a camper, you're just looking for a place to recreate, maybe hunt, things like that, it's going to check a lot of those boxes out here in western South Dakota. So first and foremost, I'll click through some of these photos to help you understand what this area looks like. I think another big selling point is that pond that you're seeing on the property that's almost an acre in size. And like I said, clicking through some of these photos, I want to start with a quick disclaimer. This isn't legal advice. It's not real estate advice. I'm simply sharing my thoughts and opinions on this property with you here today through my own due diligence and my 10 plus years experience in the land world. So here's a good look. I want to zoom in here. This is what this road looks like coming in from Twilight Road, which is Highway 212. And here's what that pond looks like on your property. Okay, so again, some of the neighbor's property is fenced. We'll talk about that a little bit more in this video, and I will talk more about access in this video. So again, getting some good looks here at the property. It's going to be flat. It's going to check a lot of boxes for folks looking for land in South Dakota. Here's a really good aerial view too, and you can kind of see the Black Hills off in the distance even. Check that out. So yeah, really cool location. You're about an hour from Rapid City if you're following the speed limit, right? But yeah, about an hour from Spearfish and Rapid City is where you're coming in from. Looking at it on a map, here's where we're at. We're north of Sturgis, north of Spearfish, north of Rapid City. We're up here in off Highway 212. And again, your best access route, I'll talk about that here in a second, is coming in off, actually, it's not Highway 212, it's this road right here that's north of Highway 212. So if we zoom in, it's going to be your best access is off this old Twilight Road. Okay, so that road checks out. That's a good road. It's up here to the north. And then there's a 33-foot wide easement that comes down off old Twilight Road that's going to come down and essentially jog over. So somebody's built right there, it looks like. You can see that's somebody homesteading out there on that property, it looks like. Then this road continues to come down through here, and it does access the corner of our property, and it does get up to the neighbor's property. So you can see they're homesteading, maybe ranching, farming, whatever they're doing. They've got a nice spread just north of this property as well. And I think we can see the fencing. Looking at some of these property photos, you can actually see the fencing for that property as well. If we zoom in, I believe that's some fencing down there along the road. So, giving you an idea, I love looking at satellite imagery because it does really give a person an idea, like what are people doing in this area? How can I learn about a property without ever going there? And we can see, this person is developed. What does that tell us? Maybe they have power. Maybe they're using solar, but more than likely, we're going to see some sort of power source maybe nearby this property. So I don't have exactly where power is going to be on this property. There were no visible power lines nearby for our photographer. That doesn't mean there's not underground power. That doesn't mean our photographer missed some of these power lines. If you do want to go view the property, that's something I'd start exploring and looking for. But somehow these folks are getting power, whether it's solar or there's a nearby junction box to connect to. The next thing we're seeing is, when you want to develop, if you're ready to develop in this property, you're going to install a well for water, you're going to install a septic system for sewer. So those are just things you're going to have to go through the state, go through the county with, contact a local, septic installer, contact a local well driller. A lot of times these folks work in these areas, work on your neighboring properties, can give you a lot of insight into that. In terms of other uses, like I said, it's ready to start using, tomorrow, right? Bring a camper out there, start using it for recreation, put some yurts out there, some teepees. There's a lot you can do with a property like this. We're seeing more and more people get creative with tiny homes and different various uses in South Dakota, Washington, Wyoming, places like that out here in the country. We're seeing a big influx into interest in these type of properties. So, we can see that there. We can see other neighbors. Like I said, somebody's built up here. We saw that on satellite imagery on Google Earth. This person's got a home up here. They've been able to install a well and a septic, presumably. They're on power, presumably, right? So just keep that in mind. Whether you're looking for off-grid use or on-grid use, I think there's a lot of potential coming out here on this 40-acre property to connect to utilities and to develop just how these neighbors have. And if you're not interested in doing that, this makes for a perfect recreational property and long-term investment out here in western South Dakota. Like I said, we're seeing a big land rush into states like South Dakota, Montana, Idaho, Wyoming. The land's not going to be here forever, right? It will continue to be bought and bought up like that. So, like I said, pretty straightforward land investment. Here's that survey showing that 33-foot wide easement going through that property. There is also a section line easement if you want to access it from a different location. I don't know why you would, but yeah, that's really the summary on this 40 acres out here in western South Dakota. If you're interested in learning more about the property or accessing it, my favorite app is going to be Onyx Maps. All you're going to do is log into Onyx Maps here, plug these coordinates in. It's going to drop you right down onto the property. You're going to be able to access the property right over there from Dry Creek Trail, I think is what that's called, Dry Lake Trail. So brings you right to the front of the property. For those interested, give us a call. I do have a lot more land investments on the website, whether it be Montana, South Dakota, Idaho, Wyoming, wherever you're looking, Colorado. Get with us. We're happy to help you out. You can reach us here at 605-299-5553. Thanks for tuning in.